Alright, so I'm teaming up with DraftKings to give all new customers a winning offer. All new customers have to do is sign up for DraftKings using my promo code TheSoulDrop. Put at least $5 on the pregame moneyline for any basketball game, and you'll receive an additional $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Yep, that's right, new customers bet just $5 on a pregame moneyline for any basketball game, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets deposited into your account if your bet wins. Wondering what you could do with $150 in bonus bets on? Try out same game parlays where you can combine multiple bets from one game, like which player will score first and which team will be winning by halftime for even bigger winnings. If mobile sports betting still isn't available in your state, you can still get in on the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Bet $5 on the pregame moneyline for any basketball game and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code TheSoulDrop only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Nike Lebron NXXT GEN. So this is kind of like LeBron's cheaper shoe model, kind of, right? It retails for 160 bucks, which is still pretty damn expensive. I don't know what they're doing. Well, I mean, the Soldier line hasn't been around for a couple years now, so I'm pretty sure they're discontinuing that. The Witness line has been going strong, which is his budget shoe. It's around 100 bucks, which is still, that's like pretty cheap, right? And of course, we got the Ambassadors, but that's for overseas. So I guess this is kind of like the new generation, and maybe this shoe is taking over the Soldier line, but then it's a little bit more expensive than what the Soldier line was. But yeah, his signature shoe is $200 freaking, which is really expensive. The suede colorways, I believe, are like 210, 220 bucks, which is still like, that's really expensive, right? So yeah, $40 cheaper than the signature shoe. So is this shoe any better? Because the tech is actually very similar. Let's find out in this video. If you guys do want to cop, try to leave the free link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and in this colorway, it's really cool because obviously both the left and right pairs are different colors, right? So we have translucent rubber outsoles, however, right? And the actual traction pattern is inspired by a map of Akron, Ohio. And it looks very similar to the LeBron 20, right? So we have a multi-directional pattern, and the traction is really good. So if you're playing on a clean court, you really don't have to worry at all. You have an amazing bite, actually top tier bite, really good stops. You're gonna be stopping on the dime, so of course that is a very good thing. How is the performance on dust? The performance on dust is actually pretty damn good. It does pick up a little bit of dust, but it's a very easy wipe. You just go boom, 1 to 2 easy, very easy and slight wipes, and you're good to go, and you have really good stops again. I would say it picks up dust not very frequently, but also it like still picks up a little bit of dust, so you are going to have to wipe a little bit if you are playing on a dirty court. But like I said, it's a very easy wipe, so it wasn't a huge deal for me. And also another good thing is that if you let too much dust build up, it's just it doesn't like slide out, or it's not dangerous or anything like that. You just don't have like as good of a stop. So of course that's good because that's not dangerous. So yeah, the traction was really good on a clean court, also very good on a dusty court, and you don't really have to break it in. It was pretty much good right out the box for me. First day I played in it, I had an amazing bite, right? If you're playing on an outdoor court, I feel like it's probably not the best. The lines are pretty thin, right? The rubber is like on the harder side of things, kind of, but like there are some spots where it does feel pretty soft. In some spots where the rubber or the grooves are a little bit tighter, it is a little bit harder. So I feel like it'll be okay for outdoor use, but probably not the best. And also it's a pretty expensive shoe, so be careful on that. But the overall performance is really good, just because like I was playing on like with shoes that don't really have good performance on a dusty court. For example, like in the Kawhi 3s, I was testing those as well, and those weren't really sticking. But when I switched to these were sticking pretty well. So yeah, the performance of the traction is really good. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, also super smooth in this shoe, right? So we have a pretty rounded shape. It's not super curved or anything, but it is rounded here in the heel. And also we have a fully exposed Cushlon midsole, which does feel very nice. It just says soft foam on their website, but Foot Doctor Zach did say it is Cushlon, and I believe him. So Cushlon foam, very nice here in the heel. And then here in the forefoot, we have a very nice curve shape and a good amount of forefoot flex, and also midfoot flex, right? So torsion support isn't the best in this shoe, but I actually really didn't have any problems with it. I feel like torsion support, for me, I don't need that much, you know what I mean? So I know there's some people that need it, but for me, and not a huge deal, just because, you know, I play in the 808 2s, I play in Kobe, like the Kobe 9s and the Kobe 8s, they have a lot of flex in the midfoot as well, and also Kyrie's, and I don't really have terrible issues, right? So again, like if you need it, then probably not the best option, but if you don't really need it, then you should be fine. I was okay here in the LeBron NXXT GENs. So overall heel to toe transition when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court, super duper smooth. I really liked how it felt. And now moving on to the cushioning setup, which is also one of my favorite parts about this shoe, right? So court feel is actually pretty good. Obviously it's not amazing like the Hardens, but also I would say it's not terrible like old school LeBron's, like the LeBron 19, LeBron 18, like all the LeBrons in the past that had like terrible court feel. This is actually way better, right? So you have pretty damn good court feel, and also impact protection is really good. You know, here in the heel, if you're doing hard heel strikes, you should be good to go. The Cushlon is pretty damn soft, and of course if you're doing toe strikes, you should be good because there is a zoom turbo unit. It's also bouncy, right? So here in the forefoot, we have a zoom turbo unit and it feels really good. You know, if you guys didn't know, I don't really like zoom strobo in the forefoot just because it's a little too crazy. There's way too much compression, it's too bouncy, and also like it's a little unstable just because it's not articulated, right? But if you look at zoom turbo, it is articulated, so it's bouncy right where you put pressure, as opposed to like an actual zoom strobo unit, which is just like one whole unit, right? And it feels a little unstable there. This feels very nice. It's a lot more subtle as far as the bounce goes, but there still is nice compression and also bounce in the forefoot, just not too much. Of course, if you like zoom strobo and you like how bouncy it is, obviously this is a lot more subtle, but I really like it. And then here in the heel, we have a top loaded zoom unit. So at first I couldn't really feel it as much, but once I started really playing it, there is a nice compression and bounce in the heel as well, which does feel nice. And then of course, this is Cushlon, like I mentioned. It's not super soft like the KD 14s or even the LeBron 20s, but there still is a little bit of compression. I feel like if it was as soft as like the LeBron 20s for the midsole compression, then it would be too much just because there is a top-loaded zoom unit here in the heel. So that was a nice kind of like combination, you know, the top-loaded zoom unit in the heel and the kind of like stiffer Cushlon, but also there's still a pretty nice compression, right? So overall, it's a really nice all-around cushioning setup. It's not too bouncy, it's not too crazy for me, it's not too soft, it's not too mushy. It's just the right amount for me personally. So yeah, it's an amazing cushioning setup, and I feel like it does everything pretty damn well, like impact protection, bounce, comfort, step-in comfort. So yeah, it's a really nice cushioning setup in my personal opinion. Now moving on to the materials. So we have kind of like a textile material, and there's this like little pattern on it, kind of reminds me of like a not zebra, like cheetah skin or something. But overall, it's really thin. Look at that. Look at how thin it is. It conforms to your foot extremely well. I'm just pressing with my fingers, right? It's super soft, but also it is pretty damn supportive. There's not a whole lot of stretch to it. So I do like how this material feels on foot, just because I like to have a very minimal material, right? If you're looking for really crazy support, this probably isn't the best option, but for most people, I feel like it should be supportive enough. Also here in the toe box, we have a little bit of like a synthetic suede material, or a suede. It's not the best quality. And honestly, this also isn't the greatest for quality, especially for $160, right? And also here on the medial side with this suede material, not the best for quality. Here in the tongue, we have very minimal padding, right? It's also a half booty construction tongue, which gives you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, we have very minimal padding too. It seems like there are some holes in like the foam, right? And it reminds me of the LeBron 20 a little bit. It feels a little bit like memory foam. You know what? There is a little bit of give to it, and it kind of like stays there. You know, it feels like it kind of molds to the shape of your ankle and like the shape of your like Achilles here in the back. So that feels great as well. So like on foot, it feels great. Right? I really like how it feels, supportive, comfortable, conforms to your foot. However, the quality isn't the best, especially for $160, so do be careful on that. One little detail I do like though is the swoosh, right? There is this like really cool reflective material on it. It's also a double swoosh, which I really like too, and then also we have that pattern on the medial side. So there is the materials there. Moving on to the fit, so I went true to size. In my first impressions, I said it is really tight, right? And it is super tight lengthwise, and I did suggest going up half a size, right? But I've played in it, and this material does stretch out a little bit, and it did get a little bit roomier. So right now it's a really nice fit for me personally, like a very perfect fit. But like my toes are right there, right? So I didn't really experience my toe banging the tip of the shoe either. So honestly, it was a really comfortable fit for me just because in my ball shoes, I like to have a very, very snug fit. Honestly though, I wouldn't wear these casually just because it's a really snug fit. And for my casual shoes, I like to have more of a roomy fit, right? But when I'm playing ball, I like a really snug fit. So true to size was good to me, but if you want a really snug fit, then go true to size. But I feel like most people, or a lot of people, I would still suggest going up half a size just because it's still a little tight for the length. So just be careful on that. Also here in the toe box, it's extremely snug. And then width-wise, I would say it's slightly narrow. So for me, it was a great fit. If you have a wide foot or you want a roomier toe box, probably go up a full size just because it's a super snug fit, right? And now moving on to the support and lockdown. So lateral containment was actually really good for me. Here on the lateral side in the forefoot, there's not a whole lot going on as far as lateral counters go, but it was supportive enough for me. I didn't really feel my forefoot coming out of the footbed or anything, so it felt supportive for me. I feel like, you know, if you are a bigger dude though, you're gonna notice like the material rolling over on itself just a tiny bit, but for me, or I feel like most people, you should be fine. Then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, so lateral containment, I was good to go. Also, lateral stability was good for me. There is a little bit, not really an outrigger, but it does protrude out a little bit as far as the outsole and midsole goes here on the lateral side in the forefoot, so lateral stability was also good for me. And also, I didn't really experience any type of heel slippage, so support and lockdown was very good for me. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it was around average weight, maybe a little bit lighter, right? Like, yeah, 11.6 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 11.53 ounces. So it's a pretty light shoe. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, it feels light. It feels minimal, especially for the upper. And also it's a super responsive shoe just because the traction is amazing. Cushion is responsive, but also soft and comfortable, which I liked. Minimal upper. And I felt really, really quick when I was playing it. So yeah, it was really nice. I love the weight. I love the feel of the shoe as well. As far as the ventilation goes, ventilation was pretty good. As far as the airflow goes, there's a little bit of airflow, but this material, like I said, is super thin, so it doesn't hold in heat or anything. So ventilation is pretty good. And as far as the aesthetics go, I love it. As far as the colorway goes, it's all right. You know, I'm not a huge fan of like blue and orange, but the overall silhouette looks amazing. And some of the PEs that LeBron's been wearing are also really, really good in my personal opinion. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, the LeBron Next Gen, I really have no qualms. I have no issues with this shoe. I really can't think of anything negative about the Next Gens. I really enjoyed playing it, and it's definitely a top tier shoe for me, and it'll definitely be in my rotation. I feel like also most people will enjoy it. Whatever position you play, whatever your play style is, I definitely feel like you'll enjoy playing the Next Gens as well. If you're a bigger dude, cushion's really good, support overall is good as well. I guess just besides here in the forefoot, just be careful on that, but I feel like it'll be adequate. If you're a guard and you're looking for a responsive shoe that feels really comfortable, the Next Gen is also a very, very good option. So yeah, the Next Gen, they killed it, but also I don't really understand this shoe because like it's very, very similar to the LeBron 20 as far as the tech goes, as far as how it looks, the overall build, you know what I mean? So I don't, like business wise, it's not good for Nike because it's $40 cheaper than the LeBron 20, and if you're trying to save money, why would you get the LeBron 20? Like you just get this shoe, right? So business-wise, it doesn't make sense, but it's good for us consumers, right? So if you want to save 40 bucks and you want a very good performer or a very similar shoe to the LeBron 20, this is an amazing option. So anyways, that about concludes my review of the LeBron Next Gen. It is approved. It's an amazing shoe, and I highly recommend it. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.